Have you ever looked at the market after learning everything that you believe that you need to know and then just kind of feeling like you know nothing? In this video, we're going to take a look at one of the reasons why that could be the case, one of the issues or the psychological issues that I have recently faced, how we can deal with this issue, how to recognize that you're facing this issue, and how to overcome it. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. So in the past couple of days, I've experienced a psychological issue in which I have not experienced in quite a long time now. And this is quite perfect timing because obviously the last video I said I wanted to be, staying away from the charts. I want to be getting more into psychological issues and how to deal with them. And of course, it comes in very timely manner that I then go through one of these experiences. So what I wanted to do is I want to be able to journal this. I want to be able to put it onto my YouTube channel so I can look back at it and hopefully we can kill two birds with one stone and I can help you guys. If you do go through this, then hopefully you can use this video to be able to get you out of this situation without taking too much damage in the meantime. So this video is applicable to pretty much anyone. You don't have to have a working strategy. You either can have a working strategy or you don't have a working strategy and you are looking for one. I think every single trader is susceptible to this because ultimately what we have available to us now in the form of social media, in the form of YouTube, in the form of Instagram specifically, there's so much on Instagram which you'll see people being successful, you'll see and that's all you see on Instagram, right? So you see all of these people being very successful, you don't see any of their losses, which ultimately I've tested out posting my losses and all of that kind of stuff and it doesn't really get engagement because no one wants to see you losing. But then when people say, why are you not authentic, why are you not doing XYZ, you go, well, ultimately I've tried that and there's nothing that there's no point because it doesn't get the engagement, right? So I wanted to be a bit more open and vulnerable with you guys, showing you kind of what full-time traders actually kind of go through, what it takes to actually overcome these psychological issues, and kind of what it's like to also run a mentorship while having these issues as well. So I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of my week and kind of where it started and then where the issue came and then how I dealt with it for the rest of the week. So Monday and Tuesday I actually took off the markets just because I had a friend here in Vietnam. The main reason I got into trading is because I want to be able to, take time off when I want to. I want to be able to have the freedom to do whatever I want. So as you can imagine, I came back to the charts on Wednesday. I was very refreshed. I had, basically a 4-day weekend, right? I took Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. I came back Wednesday, nice and relaxed, ready to get on the charts. And one of the things that I like to do when I take a day or two off is I like to go back through the previous day's, price action and see kind of what's happened. Was there any positions available that fit my plan? And if not, then basically move on to what can potentially happen today. So we'll get into this in just a moment, but this is one of my journals. Basically, I've written in here the whole kind of week's scenario and kind of what happened. And to the best of my ability, I'm going to describe, why I think this issue has crept up on me. So relating back to what I was saying about socials, a few days or weeks ago, what I'd done is I actually found someone on Instagram, which I was kind of looking at their stories, looking at their kind of trades and their way of trading, which kind of actually relates to how I used to trade a little bit. And then I got really intrigued because this person seems to be doing very, very well. But what this person was doing, which I'm not here to shout names, they were basically just using a methodology which I am unaware of, but from first glance looked very, very similar to what I used to do, right? But the way that they had adjusted it is they were using very, very tight, small stop losses. So what I'd actually got into my head was the fact that, maybe I'm going to have a look into this. I'm going to see, how they're doing things. Maybe I can get a different understanding of the market. Maybe I can implement some of the things that they are doing into my trading. And my students all know that I like to expand my knowledge. I'm always a student of the market, right? That's one of my, set in stone views, is the fact that me, you, anyone is always a student of the market. Now this can also be taken in two different ways. You can have an open mind and be, willing to take in some information or test a few different things out to be able to see if you can potentially implement these things into your system. Or what you can actually do is completely ditch the whole system that you actually have and then just look at this specific system. Now this is kind of what I call the shiny object syndrome, or the SOS. I created a post on Instagram not too long ago about this, so it's quite frustrating that that's kind of what's happened to me, more recently. So back to the story, I was on the market for most of Wednesday. I was looking for, any setups. I was helping in my Discord channel, helping my students. And then basically there was no setups, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not really anything for me. Obviously Monday and Tuesday I took off. Wednesday, there was nothing. So we arrive at Thursday. I do my workout, I do my meditation, I go out, I have some breakfast, then I'm kind of ready to come back to get back on the market. I start at 1 p.m. because I'm in Vietnam, and that's kind of when Frankfurt starts. You know, I'm trying to get on for Frankfurt and then sit through from Frankfurt all the way until the end of London. So me and one of my friends are having a conversation just about the markets, about, you know, potential positions, when he comes out with something very similar to what I had actually seen on this other page a few days or weeks ago. Now this basically just sent my mind into overdrive. He was, you know, obviously looking at this as well. So instantly this shiny object syndrome just boom, clicked in my mind, and my mind was so unfocused. My mind was felt all over the place. So I came back home, I got straight onto the charts, and I started trying to study this thing that we were having a conversation about. And this is one thing that I'm really trying to get better at. I'm looking to journal every time I feel a little bit emotional, right? So I came back to the charts and I wrote down, I feel a little bit emotional because there's this new source, or there's this new information which I'm looking to study, but then, you know, it was getting towards London session. So I was also trying to trade, but my mind was completely elsewhere. Now what this actually led me to do is completely leave me astray from my own system, and what I was doing was purely focusing on some of the information that I was then testing and studying, which is not even in my plan. This ultimately leads me to completely miss one of the textbook setups that me and my students always take. I failed to follow my pre-market process, which I do every single day. And typically what I'll do is I won't even think about it, and it will just kind of happen, because that's how systematical my approach is nowadays. So after the London session, I had a group call with my students, and I was, you know, going through the charts, and I was just explaining what had actually happened, right? And this is kind of the point where I was like, okay, not being able to follow this basic process which I've set out for myself, it led me to take 2 losses, right? And basically my normal process is, after every single trade, no matter whether it's a loss, whether it's a win, whether it's a break even, whatever, I journal it straight away. Now you can imagine exactly what I did. I did not journal it. Then I went on to take the second trade, and then I lost that as well. So not only have I failed to follow the basic processes, I've then failed to do my journaling, which prompts me to be able to look at the market and see what I've done wrong. And then I've also gone on and taken a second trade, which I've also gone and lost, when all I really had to do was take a step back, follow my proven process, which works every single time for me, and stops me getting in these shitty trades, so I can step back and take a larger perspective of the market, see where I've gone wrong, and then ultimately that will lead me to not get into the next trade. This is one of the most difficult and frustrating situations for me. Obviously, I'm a normal person, just like you are, just like anyone else is. I'm still susceptible to these kind of emotional blips. Even while I'm training my brain to be able to, you know, deal with these situations in a better manner and be able to efficiently push them to the side, or if I can't push them to the side, then push myself to the side. So what were the prompts to this emotional downfall that I had? The first one I would say is social media and looking at other people and seeing what they're doing instead of focusing on myself. The second reason being that there wasn't too many setups available with my system, so then maybe my brain had started to think about, you know, maybe what else can I do to be able to get into these positions, which is such a wrong mentality. And number 3, I basically let the shiny object syndrome take a hold of me. I wasn't able to control my urge to want to study this new thing, and ultimately this led me to disregard everything that I know and left me feeling like I didn't know anything. Now, how can you deal with these issues before they get too detrimental to your trading and start affecting your capital? The first thing that I realized is I need to take time off the market. What you then need to do is start building faith in your system again. Potentially, you know, the reason that this has happened to you is because there hasn't been too many setups. I really like this one game. So basically what you do is you get a coin, you have heads and tails, right? And what you'll do is you'll get, you know, a pen and paper, or you'll write somewhere, and you'll say, you know, heads is win, tails is loss, right? And then you'll flick it and you'll do this 10 times, right? And what you've got to do prior to doing this is you've got to, you know, work out what is your typical risk to reward. If that's, you know, 1 to 5, you just set it. Every single win is going to be a 1 to 5. Write on your whiteboard, or write on your piece of paper, you know, every time you win, every time you lose, right? And that's going to give you the final result. And this is actually going to motivate you and make you think like, you know, this system actually really does work. What I need to be doing is focusing on this, because when I diverge, when I go and try and find something else, then I'm ultimately just losing, and I'm adding losing streaks onto this, this list for no reason, basically. So let's just play this game together, right? So if I get heads, I'm gonna take 5R, right? If I get tails, I'm gonna lose 1R, right? So let's play. Okay, so one tails, right? So one loss, so -1, okay? Let's get a better throw than that. Okay, another tails, right? Another loss. Cool. Okay, heads, +5. Another heads, +5. A tails, -1. -1. Right, so up until this moment here, we have 4 losses and only 2 wins. Another tails, another loss. Another tails. Another loss. And a heads. Right, so final result, we have 5, 10, 15, and then we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, right? So ultimately, we come out with +8%. And this is over 10 trades. So basically what we've done is we've had 3 wins and 7 losses in that scenario, and we are still profitable. Now I like to do this several times over and over and over again, just so I can really reinforce the fact that, it really doesn't make a difference how many losses I take. As long as I stick to my system, this will work out. And the last way I would say you can really deal with this psychological issue is by not ignoring the issues. What you have to do is you really need to sit down and come to terms with them. You cannot ignore them. What you need to do is, potentially get a book, get a journal, start writing these things down, and then you need to ask yourself, why are these things happening? I like to sit down and meditate and kind of work out what has actually happened and why it's happened. And you want to be writing down your emotions, right? So anytime that you feel emotional, what you want to do is write down all of your emotions. As soon as you feel that, you're not quite in the zone, you're not quite focused, write them down, take a step away from the charts, and that might be for 1 day, it might be for 2 days, it might be for 3 days, it might be for the whole week. It depends how long it takes you to get over this thing. Psychological books have really helped me be able to enhance the way that I actually deal with these issues, and I feel like I have a much better way of being able to deal with it much quicker. Whereas prior to this, I would have been going through this for, at least a week, and I would have continued trading and trading and trading and taking a loss and taking a loss and taking a loss until I just thought, I can't keep going on like this. I need to take a step back. And that's kind of where I am right now. I can quite easily go, okay, I'm having an issue. What I need to do is take a step back, and I will come back once I'm ready. I hope this video helped you out, people. So what I want to be doing is, if I do have any of these kind of emotional blips at any time, I will 100% be making a video on them, because I want to be able to journal them, be able to journal my progress, how I'm dealing with them, and then hopefully be able to help you in the long run as well. I will be coming back into the market on Monday with a fresh mind, following my process that I've got laid out for me, and I'll be ready to attack the markets as I usually do. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.